Hey there VC or anyone who's watching this video. Wow, it's been a long time, hasn't it? It seems like I always start the videos by saying that because I've been slacking off big time this past year or even longer, I don't know. I used to make a video fairly regularly, once a month or so, but well, I've been taking some time off of Looney Tubes or YouTube, and it's been quite good. All that seems to be going on in the YouTube world or the VC world are all those endless live streams. Nothing wrong with that, but not my cup of tea actually. And most of my favorite channels don't seem to make videos or as much videos as they used to, so it's been a good time off the YouTube thing, but hey, I'm back. What you heard in the background is the mighty Fuchsia, not that mighty, because they were a one and done band, I believe, released a fantastic progressive folk rock album in 1971-72 on the Pegasus label. This is a reissue, an unofficial reissue, but I just had to grab it because I don't see these too often. So that's another one for my want list, original want list. I might even call it a grail. Well, I've been slacking off the VC and YouTubing thing, but I certainly haven't been slacking when it comes to buying LPs. So I thought I'd show some of what I got. I don't think I can go through everything. It would be a marathon video, but I can at least show some highlights. But first, cheers! I hope you are all doing well now as the world is getting ever so slowly back to normal, or normal. First off today is can I say a reissue? I don't think it was properly reissued in the 70s, but just as a private release at least. It's Black Spirit, a band, I think they were from Italy, but they recorded this album in Germany in the late 70s, I think 78 or so, but it sounds like an early 70s recording. This is a reissue on Kissing Spell. And it's hard and heavy psych rock, and it's not essential, but it has a couple of very decent tracks. So I think most of the first side is very good, but more boogie rock on the second side. So not essential, but a cool piece, and this is quite cheap to find. If you find a copy, it should be cheap. So that's Black Spirit. What's next? Yeah, Henry Cow. I guess you all know Henry Cow. Sort of avant-garde-ish jazz rock band with Fred Frith on the guitar. This is an original US Virgin release, their first album. I want to find their other albums as well. This is another reissue on Outsider Records. Certainly a one and done band from the United States, recorded in '69, I believe. The band was called Bliss, and it has a couple of good tracks, but it's heavy blues rock. Not mind-blowing, but there you go, Bliss. I found a nice fresh reissue of Hog Stuff's second album called Bolex Dementia. This is on the Magic Box label, which I have seen has been marked as unofficial on Discogs. I don't know whether that's true or not, because these are quality pressings. I guess you know Hog Stuff with John Buchan on the guitar. This turned up for a quite nice price. The Stooges live at Goose Lake. The last gig with Dave Alexander before he got sacked. It's a fun piece to have, certainly not essential. A very nice one. This is Blossom Toe's second and last album, If Only for a Moment, released in 1969. Their first album was from 67 and was sort of a very typical British whimsical psychedelia, not to everyone's tastes. There are some good, quite good solid British psych tracks on there, but kind of goofiness which doesn't hold water to me all the way through, but this one certainly does. More heavy, hard and heavy in its sound, and certainly still psychedelic, but moving towards that heavy progressive sound of the late 60s. This is an official, a bootleg reissue on a Marmalade wannabe label. I really recommend this one if you want to check out Blossom Toes. A fun piece I found, Gong Chamol. This is a bit after my favorite period. Steve Hillage had left the band. David Allen had left the band, and they were moving towards jazz rock, more generic sort of sound for the mid-70s, but still a solid record, a good incarnation of the band. But this is a promotion copy, so I grabbed it. It was very cheap, so I said, why not? You all know Gong, of course. A copy of Friend Sound Joyride turned up in Oslo, so I of course had to grab it. And this is one of the better psychedelic pieces, in my opinion, from the United States, leaning towards the more avant-garde side of psychedelia. So these are quite cheap to find, so if you haven't heard Friend Sound Joyride, go and check it on the YouTube. I don't know why I bought it. Moby Grape isn't my favorite band, but when this UK copy stared right back at me, I just grabbed it for a nice price. And it's a decent album. It's not a bad album, but it's not quite in my vein. That's more precise. So Moby Grape 69. Earth and Fire's third album. This is the German version, which was called Maybe Tomorrow, Maybe Tonight. It had a different title in the Netherlands. Dutch progressive rock, but this is getting a bit slick for my taste. If you want to check out Earth and Fire, go for their first two albums. This is a good album, mind you, but it's getting more and more slick towards the mid-70s. I think it's from 73. One I've been wanting for many years. Fumanshu, Go For It Live, the only vinyl issue, the German issue from 2002, I think. Just steaming live recording of Fumanshu. Great stuff. I'm whipping through these. Found a nicely priced copy of Dr. Sardonicus, 12 Dreams of Dr. Sardonicus. It's a reissue from 73 or so, I think. It's okay. In parts it's more than okay, it's good, but overall I'm not quite catching on to Spirit. But I'll give it more spins and see if I like it better. One I certainly like is Randy California's Captain Copter and the Fabulous Twirlybirds. Found a nice copy for a nice price, so I had to grab it. That's an excellent one. Another cheapie, a 1973 reissue, UK reissue of Frank Zappa's Lumpy Gravy. On the Verve label. The disc is near mint and cost next to nothing. So I had to have it. So, on to the more grailish stuff. Except for this one. This was a blind buy. Pacific Drift. Released in the UK in 1970. On the Durham Nova label. Found it for a very nice price, so I took a chance. And thought... perhaps this is an undiscovered gem for me, but this was more sort of generic standard rock with some progressive leanings and a bit of country rock. Not my... I was a bit disappointed, I have to admit. So, check it out, but if you like that more soft, generic rock, with prog leanings. A nice find was this St. Stephen Over the Hills bustage on ABC probe. These don't turn up too often here in Norway. It's been shown quite a lot in the VC, but I've only had a reissue. A nice whimsical and in parts heavy psychedelic record from St. Stephen. Nice find there. A reissue of a krautrock grail of mine, collective, sort of progressive jazz rock from Germany. In the gimmick sleeve, I haven't removed the shrink yet, so I can't show you the gimmick sleeve, but inside there's sort of a board game which unfolds itself when you open the gatefold. This is a long hair reissue, and it was a limited blue vinyl reissue, if that matters. I just had to grab it when I saw it was collective. A nice one which I found last weekend in Oslo. An original UK track issue of The Who's Sellout, and this is the mono issue. And I got it for a very nice price because there are lots of hairlines and scuffs on the record, but it plays excellent. And my tip for you, if you want to get an original of The Who Sellout on track, choose the mono. The stereo sounds much more thin in the mix and much more trebly, an unpleasant trebly sound in especially Keith Moon cymbals. but this has more bottom end and it's well rounded. Plus there are some alternative tracks, guitar takes on this one. On Our Love Was, it's an alternative guitar solo, and there's a couple of other overdubs which are on the mono issue, which aren't on the stereo issue. So audio wise, if you want an original of this, I would opt for the mono. Not an original, but a grail of mine, Geronimo's second album, simply called Geronimo, from 1971. I think I have their first as well. Yes! This is their first album, called Cosmic Blues, on the Bellaphone label, released in 1970. They had a hit with Heya Heya, and recorded this the year after. This is much better. Hard and heavy, smoking all the way through. This is a good album, but this is the must-have. Geronimo. Found this record store day issue of The Who live at Monterey. I believe it was the record store day from last year. And I really didn't expect to find it here in Norway, but suddenly it popped up on this. Well, I'm not too big on colored vinyl. I would have preferred a black version, but I think this is the only alternative. So it's nice to have this live set finally on LP. And what else? What else? I finally found myself a UK copy of a Quatermass. Most people call them Quartermass, which is wrong. If you read, it says Quatermass in English. Quatermass. On the Harvest label, lovely progressive organ-driven prog rock. What else? My third copy of Freddie Lindquist's Menu, on original on Flower Records. In a weak moment I sold my other two copies, which I shouldn't have done, because this is very tough to find, and when they do show up they are expensive as hell. But I was lucky, and I found this copy on Norway's equivalent of eBay. And as it turned out, it was Freddie Lindquist's fiancée from back in the day who sold this copy. It was given to her during its release. She even attended the recording sessions for this album. So this is a special copy handed to her from the man himself. And just give you a look at that lovely Flower label before I flip to the B-side of Fuchsia. Oh, sorry. So I will be keeping that third and final copy of Freddie Lindquist, I believe. I was offered quite a bit of money for the other two copies I had, so I couldn't refuse, but I have to hang on to this one because, as mentioned, they are rare as hen's teeth, even though it was released here in Norway, and they do pop up on occasion from time to time, but they are usually beat up or expensive as shit, if shit is expensive. Okay, getting near the end of what I want to show you today. I have shown this before. Of course, this is Pretty Things SF Sorrow from 1968. In my opinion, their peak. I have the original stereo issue from the UK, and this is the original mono issue from UK. It turned up for sale, and I couldn't resist, I couldn't help myself. But one of them has to go. I have yet to decide if I'm keeping the stereo or the mono, because I'm not rich, you see, even though I spend quite a bit of money on records. I have been hung up on early Alice Cooper lately. Never really given them much thought, but I heard this again a couple of months back, and just suddenly this album clicked with me big time. And in my opinion, this is a jangly, unhinged, unbalanced psychedelic masterpiece. So many good songs on this album, so crudely produced and recorded, but it fits the sound and the songs so well. Songs such as Sing Low, Sweet Cheerio, Today Mueller, Fields of Regret, Levity Ball, Reflected, which is my favorite, Apple Bush and Earwigs to Eternity, and Changing Arranging. Wow, this is an awesome heavy psych album. This is an original UK issue on the Straight label, Zappa's own label. And this is somewhat produced, I believe, by Ian Underwood from the Mothers of Invention, but mostly by the band themselves. Recorded in a very short time in Zappa's recording studio, I think. Awesome. I also found this UK original of their second album, Easy Action. Hasn't clicked in the same degree as Pretty's For You, but an awesome album as well. And I want their third album, and then I think I'm set. Later Alice Cooper isn't anything that tickles my fancy, even though they were a good band. Okay, that's everything I have to show now. I hope you enjoyed the showings, and thanks for watching as always, and stay safe. I hope you enjoy your summer. Cheers. Perhaps we'll see you soon. Perhaps it will take another couple of months. We'll see. Bye for now.